There's lots of fun activities that you can do, some very important ones out there too that you don't want to miss out on. Something that's been around for quite a while here is the Elgin Valley Fox Trot. It's been a staple in the community of the Fox River Valley and in Elgin for decades. And we're so excited to be announcing the 48th annual event here. We have Ed and Rosey with us today. I want to thank both of you for joining us. How are you both doing today?
Great.
Very good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Very good.
You see we have matching T-shirts.
I love it. I love the T-shirts too. It brings out so much color, which is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourselves and what your role is as part of the Elgin Valley Fox Trot.
Sure. So I'm one of the race directors with Ed Bates and then two other of our colleagues. And I've been part of the Kenyan Farm Runners in the Elgin area, where we get together regularly to run different distances. And so as an extracurricular activity. And so I've been involved for probably a decade myself with the group, but recently started taking over the Foxtrot probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Awesome. Very good.
So I also am a Kenyan farm runner, and in 2019, when the city decided to discontinue the race, one of the city council members, John Steffen, contacted myself and Tim Williams of the Boys and Girls Club. I'm the Elgin Lions Club.
Awesome.
Initially, Tim and I were the directors of the race, but then because there's a lot to do, we added others to it now. So there's a team of 5 people now who are involved with the race. I think that one of the most important things we do is that this is different from the city, is that all of the proceeds from the race go to 9 local nonprofits.
Oh, awesome.
None of us make salaries. This all goes to the nonprofits.
That's awesome. Yeah, so this is, again, the Elgin Valley Fox Trot, been a staple in the community for decades. Tell us a little bit on how the race has evolved over the years and what makes it unique compared to other local races.
So the race began as a 10-mile race, and it was part of the running boom of the 1970s. A gentleman, Dr. David Bruce, went in and ran the Chicago Marathon, the first Chicago Marathon in 1977, came back and patterned what he learned there into creating, at that time called the Valley Fox Trot. It had a different sponsor at that time. The first 2 years, the city was not the sponsor. Okay. Third year, then the city was. So if I go on too much with this, Matt, I am a historian, and I am writing a book about the Elgin Valley Fox Trot.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So there's a whole history on it. There's so much. Like you said, you write a book on it. That's fantastic. Yes. Very, very good. So, and of course, you get your exercise. It's for a great cause. This year marks the 48th annual event. What are some memorable moments or milestones from past races that stand out to you?
1991, a gentleman named Jeff Galloway. Runners would know that name. He ran the race. At one time, he was the American record holder in the 10-mile.
Wow.
And he ran the race. I've been in contact with him since, and we're going to push to try to get him here in 2 years for the 50th race.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Jeff is especially well known. He has written quite a few books about running and is what's generally referred to as the walk-run guru. Mm-hmm. So he really pushes the idea of walk-run for any runners. I think it's especially important for aging runners or new runners, but he pushes the fact that any runner can be involved with that. So that was one of the high points. There are many throughout the years. So.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Tell us a little bit here, too. Elaborate a little bit on how, because the race has such a strong community focus, you've got proceeds benefiting local nonprofits. Elaborate more on how the funds are distributed and impact the Elgin community as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll say that not only with us taking over and the city giving us that responsibility, the 9 local nonprofits, part of it in order to make a successful event is we need volunteers. So each of the nonprofits provides about 10 to 12 volunteers each to help us run the day event. As part of that commitment of providing the volunteers, then they're eligible to receive the proceeds. So all of the fundraising that we do with the sponsors and the race fees, right, from the runners in the race, we cover all our costs and expenses, and then after that, the proceeds go to each of those nonprofits as long as they commit their part of it. So it has been a great community event. I'll just add to the fact that we, try to make it a fun family event. We've added a part, where there's not only the 10-mile race, which was initial, but obviously the 5K is a big component of it. And we actually have a focus on the youth, where we have a special price for the kids, 19 and under, and we actually award them based on the USTAF age category group. So they get trophies. And we also incorporated the Fox Trophy, which is a high school, bragging rights, right? There's a trophy that gets won for the high school that has the most runners that participate in the race. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, the last 2 years, prior to last year, it was Elgin High School who took the rank. Last year, South Elgin took the crown. And right now, Larkin's in the running for it. So we'll see who represented. So I think we really try to involve the community, the families, and then there's, we add food trucks and music and try to get people to come out and really participate because we run through the neighborhood. So it really is a community event.
That's great.
Is there a team aspect to any of this? So if I wanted to get 15 of my friends, can we sign up as a, team? Or is there a team category for it?
There isn't a team category per se,
Okay.
except for what Rosie just mentioned, but anybody that comes to us and says, okay, I have 10 members of my company or 10 members of my team, can I get a discount?
Yes.
You're going to get a discount. So, so there is from that standpoint.
Okay.
But we're willing to do whatever's needed to drive registration because I think that's one of the main ways that the race not only profits the 9 nonprofits, but how it continues. When we first took it over from the city, the numbers were like 500-600 total runners. Last year, we registered 1,122.
Oh, wow.
And we're
It's
looking
growing.
for 1,200 this year. So, it builds upon itself. So we also do a lot of sponsorships as well. So the sponsors also are all given a discount. For instance, Ortho, Illinois registered 40 runners so far this year. I think that Fox Valley Orthopedic is working on challenging that number, and other sponsors are registering quite a few people as well.
Absolutely. We've got some great sponsors out here. Many you've heard before: Advocate Healthcare, Big Apple Bagels, Ascension St. Joseph, Elgin Fresh Market, Costco, WRMN. We are also on there as well, too, for the in-kind sponsorships. And then there's a whole lot more. There's copper sponsorships as well. We've got the bronze sponsorships, as well as the silver and the gold. Yes, Ortho, Illinois. Very, very nice. And then also the gold beer. You've got also the gold face paint. You've got all of these great sponsors on here. This is fantastic. And then the platinum sponsor as well, too. How can people find information on how to sponsor as well, too?
Sure. It's all on the website that you were just looking at, Elgin Foxtrot at gmail.com. Well, that's the email address, sorry. ElginFoxtrot.org is the website.
Very good. Now, do you both race in the races as well?
So because we run this event, it's hard to run this event specifically, but we run in a lot of races locally as well, so in the community. So we try to be involved there, yeah.
So we're both runners.
Yes.
Rosie is a very good runner. I'm a crazy runner.
Elaborate on crazy. What's crazy?
I've run a marathon in all 50 states.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So that identifies as crazy.
Yes.
So, you know.
That sounds more like,
commitment.
that's committed.
Yes, right.
Exactly. I love it. Committed. That's fantastic. What's something that you both individually, how do you prepare for that? I mean, do you do a lot of physical strength training, or is it a lot of, you're running a mile or so a day? I mean, how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, I'll say that, you just talked about Galloway, talking about walk to run. It is one of those things. It's a lot for me, and running started as a love-hate. It's one of those things that you're like, I really don't want to do it, but once I get done with it, it's the exhilaration that you get from it. And yeah, you start with, a jog or, small distances, and you start to ramp up. I'm not crazy or committed as Ed with all the marathons, but I've definitely done my fair share of half marathons and 5Ks or 10Ks in the community. But yeah, there is also a little bit of that endurance that you build. I do Cross Kick Fitness. They're one of our sponsors as well. And that helps with the stamina, right, to be able to do the longer distances. So it's a little combination of both. But we encourage all ages, and that's why this is such a great race for all groups. And one thing is there's some cash prizes this year, which I think you should have mentioned, which is a pretty impressive. So our top 3 male or female finishers in each race, the 10 mile or 5K, will get cash prizes, which we just introduced this year. I know the city had done something similar when they ran it, but we're excited about that feature.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So that was one addition this year. Another addition this year is face painting. So going back to the kids, I mean, anybody can have their face painted, but it'll tend to be the younger people will be involved in that. One of the nonprofits that involved with us is the Elgin Sharks,
Okay.
which is the local youth running group, and they are one of the volunteer groups. They also register an incredible number of runners, and we're very happy to have them as part of the whole event.
That's great. Yeah, as a post-race party highlighting music, you've got foods and awards. What are some of the great food trucks that are going to be there too?
So we do have the Village Tavern and Grill from South Elgin that will be doing some food there, and then Churros and Chocolate. So,
I love them.
Yeah, they're newer in this Elgin community, so we're happy to be able to promote and sponsor them. And then Elgin Beverage is the one that donated the beer. The runners automatically get a beer after their run. So, but other participants can probably purchase as well. So, but we have a DJ, a local Boys and Girls Club member who has graduated on, and now he's doing well. He's actually going to be the DJ for our event also.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
it's nice to feature our local nonprofits that we're benefiting from it too.
Well, I expect the food trucks to be busy because people are going to be working up an appetite after all the running.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't forget the post-race party,
Yeah.
where everyone that is participating of age will get a free libation.
Ah, nice.
So,
There you go. That's for you.
yeah, me right at the end. Yeah, I'll see you guys at the finish line.
And all of this takes place just north of the Borden Library. So we actually, we call it the hospitality zone. So all of the various sponsors at a certain level have a tent along there. Some have a table along there. The beer garden is at the end of the street. And that's where the whole party happens, is right there on Ann Street, north of the Borden Library.
Awesome. Now tell us a little bit here too, the Elgin Valley Fox Trot does offer course preview runs. So I know the next one will be coming up this Sunday, May 18th. Now what can people expect for that?
Yeah, so we actually will have a couple of people that are pacers so that you can preview the run. We did modify the course from the last couple of years, so it's a little bit different. It's specifically more so for the 10 miles than the 5K. The 5K, there's a couple of different streets that we go down. So it's a nice opportunity if you want to test drive it, right, and check it out. We do put water out along the course, and we provide maps, and we have people that might give you a pacing, and so we really kind of give you that taste of what that the race day experience will be. And if you're really competitive and wanting to race, it's kind of nice to be able to do that and not have anything unpredictable, especially that hill on Cedar Hill for the 10-mile runners. There's a little bit of a tricky hill that might be a little unexpected, but we do go down the Fox River Trail. We don't go across to Judson like we did last year, so that's a little bit of a nuance, and so we don't want people to get lost or confused. It'll be obviously marked on the day of the race, not so much for the preview runs, but we have people along the course to help guide people.
Okay.
So in researching past races, it was quite evident that Duncan Hill, the race used to go up Duncan,
Okay.
which is a longer hill, up from I-90 up to the top of the hill there, and many runners would say that they won the race based upon how they did on Duncan Hill.
Okay.
So I kind of felt we were missing that, and that's why Cedar Hill was added. So
Okay.
it's different in that it's not nearly as long as Duncan, but it's a significantly
It's a
steeper.
steep hill. Okay.
So in fact, we have a bike that leads the runners so that, they for sure don't get lost and don't go the wrong way.
Okay.
And we were a little concerned if the biker could stay ahead of the runners
Yeah.
on Duncan Hill. But we found some bikers that have that capability.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that there were bikers that lead the
Yeah, for safety reasons, right? They're ahead of it, and it's also just to your point to guide them along on the race day. And we do have them out for the preview runs too. But yeah, that Cedar Hill is right at about mile 8. So you think you're finishing, and you're like you get hit with that. So a little bit of a heads up for anybody signing up for the 10 mile. Be prepared for that. Whether you walk it or run it, it's that hill.
That just seems cruel.
A little bit. It's a test of fate.
Run 8 miles, and then, oh, yeah, there's this hill that I now have to climb.
Yep.
It should be interesting, though. Now, do you have people that are out there? I'm sure, yes, I've seen so many pictures from the past out there taking pictures and taking videos and things like that. So how do they have to ensure safety as well to not block too many of the runners and hopefully the runners, don't get too distracted and things like that, too. So are there certain methods and techniques that they use?
Yeah, well, I think that just going back for a second to the hill, I have to add this. So I think that many races are known for a hill. Even the Chicago Marathon, even though it's not much of a hill, because it's basically at mile 26, everybody talks about that hill. So I think going forward, it will be Duncan Cedar Hill will be a hill that people will talk about and people will remember. There's several other races in the area here that seasoned runners would be very familiar with the hill. There's a half marathon in Cary that's especially well known because it's at mile 10.
Okay.
So it's all of these kind of add to the allure, shall we say, of the race.
Yeah, it creates that memory.
Yeah. So as a runner, we all have endorphins in our head, and I know that for myself, I'm more of a self-made runner, but I often can't wait until the next time I run because it does give me a runner's high to be able to run. So I think that this is something that newer runners, they'll either learn it and continue and be a runner, or they won't like it and then they won't do it anymore. But it's worth a shot because of the health advantages. When this race originally started, I mentioned it was Dr. David Bruce that began this race. In the 70s, the emphasis was health.
Yep.
That was the whole emphasis. The original Chicago Marathon, many of these other races from the running boom of the 70s emphasized the health advantages of running, and I would continue to emphasize that. And by the way, Dr. Bruce is 82 years old, and he'll be running the 10 mile again this year.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
Yeah.
That is fantastic. That's quite the history maker there. I
Yeah.
love it. That's fantastic. Now, is there still time for people to sign up for the race?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, the 10-mile race, the price is $60 for them to participate.
Okay.
Unless they're part of one of the groups or nonprofits, they can get a discount code for. And then the 5K is $45, and they can go to the elginfoxtrot.org website to do that sign up. We will take registration up until the day before, May 31st. We will be having packet pickup at the center of Elgin, where people can pick up their packet on Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. or on Saturday from 12 to 5. And so that's where they'll get their shirt with the new color for this year, and they'll get their race bib for the race day. So we usually encourage everybody to pick it up because we try not to do it race morning. Just it's a little bit chaotic to do it that
Yeah.
morning. But there is music along the course for those people that are running the long distance. We have one at mile 5-ish because it's right under 90, and then right on Slade Street. So along the way, we try to encourage the runners. If you don't have your own earbuds or anything, we would try to have some cheerleaders along the way
I
to
love
help
that.
them.
That's
keep,
great.
Keep them motivated.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't say this about the city of Elgin. They are technically our largest sponsor.
Awesome.
So they give us a large in-kind sponsor for police, barricades, et cetera. And we are very beholden to them. They really help us a great deal with this race.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today, folks. Check out more information, elginfoxtrot.org. That's their website to go to. You can check out more information, registration, race details, courses, even take a look at the 2024 results and past. You can also find them on Facebook as well, too. Actually, my dad was a sponsor at the early first Fox Trots. That was for D'Angelo Water. Natural Spring Water, West Dundee. So he just commented that there had several water stations throughout the course. So
That's great.
Very, very cool. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us today. And folks, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. We'll definitely keep promoting it here on our end as well, too.
Great. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
Matt.
you.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm tired just listening to that.
I know, me too. I'm like, whoo, all right. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into WRMN. We're going to be back with more Out to Lunch in just a bit. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, folks, to Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. I decided to keep them on for a little longer because I love you guys. This is awesome. So cool talking about the Elgin Valley Fox Trot. And I know Derrick has some interesting questions as well, too.
So during the break, we were talking about the various events and everything that, you've run over 70.
Sure.
And with your event coming up in less than, 3 weeks now?
Not even.
Not even? Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that a non-runner can do to kind of ramp up to the event?
Sure.
This way they're not like going to the hospital afterwards with like a pulled hamstring or like a torn quad or, any of that stuff.
Sure. Well, I mean, they certainly should have some kind of running plan that they're already working on. If they don't, then I think working on a short-term run-walk plan would probably be their best bet. Now, when we say run-walk, more specifically what it means is the piece that Jeff Galloway pushes is every half minute you walk for 30 seconds, and then you run for the rest of that time. So,
Okay.
So, you walk for 30 seconds, then run up to half a mile. Walk for 30 seconds, run to a full mile. That would be a good strategy. Another strategy, because the Foxtrot has hills, including the 5K, they're not like Cedar Hill, but there are still hills, is plan your race so that your walking portion is up the hill.
Okay.
So that you aren't burning yourself out by trying to run up a hill. That is a prescription for that hamstring that you mentioned. Would
Sure.
be to try to push yourself up a hill when you're not totally prepared to run.
Yeah. That's a better way to prepare it too, just in case. And even, like there might be times when like there's a race and you prepare yourself for that and then you don't have to go over a hill and you're like, well, I'm better that I over-prepared than under-prepared.
Sure.
Have you seen situations where people haven't prepared for that and you've noticed some of that struggle? Or maybe as a racer, you're just so focused on, trying to get...
Yeah, sometimes we do have, we could mention this, we have St. Joseph Hospital is at the start-finish with people ready to do first aid.
Oh, nice.
The police do give them radios so that they can even send them out on the course as necessary. And about halfway through the race, we have Sherman Hospital out on the course as well. So we do have people available to do that. And sometimes we'll run across somebody who has overexerted. Often it's some of the younger runners, for instance, the Sharks.
Okay.
Because they will push themselves so hard that we just had another race here a few weeks ago that I was involved in, and I think we had 3 or 4 young Sharks who, let's just say they were giving up all of their innards after the race. So,
wow. Yeah, 'cause they pushed so
and it could be on the verge of heat exhaustion. So it is something that you have to be concerned about. So.
Which kind of leads me to my next question. So day of race, what would you do as far as eating food hydration, all of that stuff, because I would imagine, well, 5K, 10K, you're going to be exerting yourself on the race. So you don't necessarily want to eat that big, pancake and, egg breakfast or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
Which is why I'm asking. You're like, no. Don't do that.
Don't do that big breakfast.
Your innards will be coming out. But, so what would you recommend?
Everyone, I think, is a little bit different. I would say I'm the type, I don't like to eat anything in the morning before I go, especially if it's early. Like this race, obviously, the 10 mile starts at 7:30, and then we do the 5K at 7:40. So that's pretty early. Some races start later. So depending on the timing, I might have a banana, or I do like my coffee because I need that little caffeine kick in the morning before I go. But I think the key is the night before, making sure you do stay hydrated fully and drink lots of water the day before. Also, like a good carb, the night before, either pasta or something like that would be great, because then that way you feel fuller longer, and then at the same time when you're going to burn it off. But trust your body, right? Listen to your body, push yourself, but because it is a race, but at the same time, it's your own race, right? You're racing against others to potentially win or get a medal, but at the end of the day, you don't want to kill yourself, right? And we do have water stations along the way, so stay hydrated if you feel the need for that. But I don't know if you have any other.
To Rosie's point, everybody is different. Through most of those marathons I ran, I would have a cup of yogurt in the morning, and that's it.
Okay.
Now I'm old, so I've made a transition to Ensure. So I have an Ensure which has a lot of protein, et cetera, in it before the race. So
So everyone's different, folks. So if you're thinking about racing and you're wondering what to prep for, things like that, I think it's very good to trust your body and to, I think maybe if you've never done this before, you want to talk to your doctor, things like that, just to ensure, that you're set and ready to go for that.
That hydration is really important, really, really, really important. And the 10 milers absolutely should have some pasta the night before. I'd highly recommend that.
Well, that sounds good too.
As I ran around the country, my wife would go with me when it was a state she wanted to go to. Like she didn't want to go to North Dakota with me, for instance. So when she didn't go with me, I would always find the Olive Garden. Because it was easy to get a pasta meal at the bar quickly and be done with it. So if my wife came with me, we found a nice Italian restaurant in town to go to.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, this is out to lunch, so we are talking about good food here.
Again, I'm full of stories. So in South Dakota, when I ran a marathon there, it was in Brookings, South Dakota, which is a college town. And there was no Olive Garden, so I went to a local place and talking to a married couple next to me, and they were quite inquisitive about what I was doing, et cetera. So when I was done, they had left earlier, and I was ready to pay, and they said, no, the couple picked up my dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
So, I had a lot of experiences like that around the country, going to all 50 states in that way. So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
They probably were envious or, commiserating that you had a big race the next day and thought they'd help contribute, right?
Yep,
So
yep,
that's
yep,
a good thing.
Very cool. So I also wanted to talk about this too here. Looking ahead, what are some of the goals for the future of Elgin Valley Fox Trot? How do you plan to continue its legacy in the community?
Big thing is the 50th. I mentioned about trying to get Jeff Galloway here to be the 50th. We also work with Dick Pond, and we've the running store in St. Charles particularly, but Dick Pond in general, and they are quite interested in that possibility as well. Because you do need a major sponsor in order to pay for somebody like Galloway to come. We probably need to secure a sponsor such as Nike as well. So, and I've been told, yes, starting 2 years out is the right way to handle it, because it takes a while for all such things to be pulled together. Jeff is interested, but he gets paid for what he does. So, we have to work with it accordingly. So,
Let's talk a little bit here too. Is there a way that people can find like a map route that will show the path where to go?
Sure. It's on the website. Yep,
perfect.
It's on the website. It's
Under courses,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. We get lots of questions through the contact us link, and I've been getting 2 to 3 questions a day right now. And there were 2 main questions. One was, when is the race? So if you'll see now, it's right on the main page. It says when the race is.
June 1st.
Right, and what time it is.
Yeah.
And the other one is, packet pickup. So I've placed that prominently in the situation too. And the other one is courses. So we used to have courses / recycle. So now that link just says courses. So that hopefully people will find it easier than what they were, because obviously people were not finding it. So,
Okay.
Trying to make it user-friendly.
yeah.
But I do think the 50th is a big milestone for this race, for this community. And I think that any way that people want to get involved, we are open to ideas to really make this a big thing. We'd love to have a band. We'd like to have a big post-race party for that one, a big celebration leading up to it. And, obviously the big benefit is getting the number of racers up always. I know we have a nice uptick in the 10-mile race participants this year. 5K has always been a great turnout. It's a short, enough, only 3.2 miles, 3.1 miles, whatever, and people can do that. But we would love to get to numbers where the city was at the high water mark, closer to 1,600, 1,800 runners. Just because I think, being in the outskirts of Chicago, we're one of the, more relatively priced races, but a good size as well. So I think that those are things that we'd love to see improve over the course.
And it's also at a good point or time of the year, because then you have the, people that actually do like bigger marathons and everything. They can come in, they run here, and then, they'll do like, the Chicago Marathon, down the line.
In October,
Sure. There is a competing race, and I'll just put a plug in here why people should come to our race instead of that race. So on the same date is a race called Chicago 13.1. So that's a half marathon distance. So it's on the west side of Chicago, and it started about 3 years ago. It is put on by the Bank of America Chicago Marathon whole scenario, i.e. a lot of people are paid. There are people who are making, their salary based upon that race. That's not us. Come to us. All of our money goes to the nonprofits involved with the race. Nobody makes a salary in this situation. So it's kind of funny because that race has switched back and forth. Last year it was or 2 years. Yeah, last year was a weekend after. Now this year it's the same. We think maybe the next 2 years it's going to be different, because our race is going to be May 31 and May 30 the next 2 years, because we're always the weekend after Memorial Day, whereas I think 13.1 is choosing an early June date.
Okay.
So our calendar is based upon when Memorial Day is.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, but for until about 2006, I think it was. No, it was after that. 2012, the race was run on Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why the city stopped that is because the cost of police, et cetera, on a holiday,
Double time.
Yeah, exactly.
were immense. So they changed it to the Saturday at that time. Well, there was also a race called the Soldier Field 10 that's that same day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that still exists. So now we're a full week after that, actually 8
avoid the
days after
conflict,
that, to avoid the conflict. And we stay away from graduation parties that happen, over Memorial Day weekend. So we feel like this weekend after Memorial Day weekend is best for us.
Awesome. Very good. Did you have any other questions, Derrick?
Nope.
All right.
I'm tired just listening to them, to be honest.
You're not getting ready to sign up? I thought you were ready.
Like I said, I will see you in the party tent afterwards.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you both
Yes.
again
Very good.
so much for
Yep.
joining us
Thank
today.
you, Matt.
Folks, please check out more information. Find them on their website and also on their Facebook page. That is Elgin Valley Fox Trot. Very, very good. You can email them elginfoxtrot@gmail.com or go to their website, elginfoxtrot.org. Check out more information. Thanks again so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. We're going to take another quick time out. We'll be back with more Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410 here in just a bit. So, of course, stay tuned. We'll be back.